Hi there, I am the CRM Ninja, and on today's episode of the Oops Factor, I have Alan Chai. Welcome to the show, Alan.
Thank you. And It's an honor to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
Oh, I have to say, the honor is more for having you on because although many people don't know this, I'm going to share something which few people know, which is that James Phillips has a picture of you on the wall of his office.
Yes, it does. Yeah. It's not just me, but it's
It's,
all
it's not just you. That's right.
the 24 Power Apps champs of the world. Yeah. And
Yeah.
James Phillips is collecting the signature of all of us on those cards, on those baseball cards that we have.
It's a really great concept. I mean, I have similar thoughts when I think about the Hitachi MVP army and the deck of cards that they have, but yeah, that's not as cool as, signing a card which is up on James Phillips's wall. So did you sign yours already, or does it still need to be signed?
I have signed mine. I was there. I was fortunate to be invited to visit Microsoft Seattle HQ last year, just before COVID. I have the honor of meeting himself in his room, and I got the opportunity to sign it.
Awesome. It's amazing. I mean, I've been following you for several years. A mutual acquaintance of ours, a certain Ginger Keith Watling, talks of you with great awe and reverence. So since the first time he mentioned you, I went to take a look at the stuff. Now, people may be wondering why my head is sort of floating in the middle of a barbecue. And there is a reason for this, because I understand that one of your hobbies is barbecuing.
Yeah, uh, yeah. I started this hobby when I was in Paris. I would say when I was based in Paris. Uh, Surprisingly, when I moved to France back 4 years, was 2005, 2015, so it was 6 years ago. Didn't cross my mind that barbecue is such a culture there. Only after I land there, I realized that wow, it's not just a culture, but it's a lifestyle. So, and from there, I picked it up and really enjoy it a lot with that kind of skill set and doing that as a hobby during weekend, for the family.
Yeah. And in fact, that's actually news to me because I would never associate France with sort of barbecue. Other places in the world, yes. France, no. So
Right.
I learned something new. But apart from traditional barbecue where you just put something on, do you also do barbecue smoking, like smoking meats?
Ah, okay. Not really. I haven't gone into that, but that is something that is popular down here where I am right now in Houston. Yeah. So smoking meat is a cult, so to say. People are doing smoking brisket, in 12 hours or 24 hours. Is really something here.
Yeah. I mean, I have a decent barbecue set myself. My wife got it for me over the course of several birthdays with all the tools, and I do smoke meats like brisket
Oh,
and beef and other stuff. So, but being the geek that I am, I have I have an automatic fan with sensor to push air into it. I have automatic temperature monitoring, which pings up. I'm monitoring it all and stuff. So, yeah,
I forgot to
I'm
ask you
pretty.
that you have a Wi-Fi thermometer.
Yeah, yeah. All the gadgets. Where would we be without gadgets? I mean, where is life fun without gadgets?
Yeah, true. Very true.
Indeed. So when bringing on the news factor, I was wondering what you were going to talk about, and I happen to know the subject you're going to go on. But what I want to preface it with is that normally when people think of Power Platform and Power Apps, they think, great, I want to roll out a Power App because I've got this little problem and I want to put a Power App in place. And that's okay, sort of, for the first one. But then when you go into 10 people doing it and 20 people doing it or 200 people doing it, things don't always go according to plan. And I'm not going to say any more because I know you have a lot to share around sort of the adoption of Power Platform, how organizations should do it. So go on, give us some guidance as to the best way that we can do things to avoid issues.
Sure. So, um, you know, today is already maybe the 4th years for me getting in this Power Platform journey. So in the beginning, it's very much individual centric, right? So and then Power Platform also allows me or created a new role for myself to today I am driving digital transformation in a company that is 100,000 people
Wow,
across the world. So
that's a
when
big company.
it is, yeah, it is. And it is actually, we have one of the largest power platform environment or tenant in the world, yeah, in Microsoft Power Platform landscape ecosystem. And we are one of the most mature one, right? So, but being big, it also present a challenge for us to be more organized, to be more structured, right? Because you are already in the 4th year, or we are already in the 4th year of adoption or in the journey. We do not want everyone to repeat and start from zero, right? We want to make sure the organization is able to leverage on some of the lessons learned in the early days, and you don't have to keep starting from zero or keep making the same mistake. So my
Sure.
role is ensuring not just looking at how to make ads, but also more on towards how do I solve business problems that was that we can do it faster, we can do it more efficient, right? By not repeating mistakes. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the whole idea. Look at me as like the captain of a cruise ship, right? We have 5,000, 6,000 people, passenger in the ship, but I need to make sure that they are all steering the right direction to the destination, right? So
Got
rather
it.
than having one or two person, but you have a bunch of passenger that I need to make sure I deliver them to the destination safely and in a fun way, right? So the thing that I'm working on right now is very much on governance in applying structure, applying a way to measure the maturity, right, the digital maturity framework. So look at Power Platform as one of the components for an organization to drive digital transformation to the next level, right? So Power Platform is one of the enablers for company to go fast and change the mindset, change the ability, the skill sets of people.
And to put this into perspective, I'm familiar with the organization you work in, but to the nearest thousand, how many power apps would you say you have?
So as of today, around April, we have around 29,000.
29,000 power apps. Wow.
So so if you look at that, that is out from about 6,000 app makers, yeah, 6,000 active app makers that we have inside the company. So if you look at it, it's about 5 to 6% of the population, right? 5 to 6% of the population are actively making apps, actively solving business problem using the tool that we give them, right? The tool as in Power Platform.
That
And
is that is crazy. I mean, it's awesome, but it's just like a mind-blowing figure. I mean, when Microsoft turn around and say they want 500 million apps in the next 5 years, and you think, who's going to do that? How? But then, you see what your organization, for instance, has done over the last few years, and you start realizing what it can do.
those numbers that Microsoft mentioned, it is very real, right? Because we are seeing that right now in a tech company like ours. We have I mean, our population is very much technical people, technical population. We have engineers, we have scientists, right? And these are people, you give them a tool, you give them a hammer, they will build a house, right? So you give them Power Platform, you solve their business problem with it, right? So if you look at not the ads, but if you look at something like the flow, right? So today, let me give. I don't have the updated number, but 6 months ago, our flow, yeah, on daily basis, we have 2 million transaction, 2 million flow transaction that is happening every day, which means there are 2 million daily tasks that's performed by automation, right?
That's crazy.
So, and that was 6 months ago. Today, probably double.
Wow, that's seriously crazy. So obviously companies going in need to put the right framework in place when they're starting to adopt Power Platform, and there's obviously the Power Platform adoption framework, which is out there as a reference for things like that. But in your mind, in order to avoid any pitfalls, what are the right sort of, top 3 or 4 things that companies should look at doing to ensure they have the recipe to success?
So, for adoption at this scale, most company has the fear that when I open the gate, I'm going to create a Wild West, where things become uncontrollable, become a huge mess, right? But in reality, uh, you you need to apply some sort of. That's why it's important to have structure, some sort of guardrail. So with the right guardrail and governance, you'll be able to manage this in a more controllable manner. Yeah, and you know what is in, what is not there. So one of the key recipe in our whole governance framework is creating visibility. Right, you need to
Okay.
know you need to know what's happening in your digital kitchen. Right, you need to know who is making what at the moment, and also you need to know what has been created. Yeah,
You
so
don't want people
what's
reinventing the wheel over and over again.
absolutely, yeah. You don't want people to reinvent the wheel over and over again. You want them to leverage on what is already there. Yeah. Either by joining the band, the same app, or you reuse, yeah, reuse or reapply the app for a different scenario, right? So from an enterprise standpoint, you save or you avoided all this duplication of effort. Duplication effort can be equated to dollar, right? So that's what
That's
you
true. Yeah.
want to achieve. That recipe of success is visibility, right? Visibility to what's out there. And then the second key ingredient I would say is the recipe is to have the right recipe, which means you need to let people know how to build, how to make digital, how to create digital stuff, which is the recipe to digital, right? Which is your playbook. Yeah, you need to come up with a clear playbook for whether it is citizen developer all the way to your product in terms of how do you build an app? How do you grab your data securely? How do you make sure that your app is protected? The data is put in a way that the permission access control has a proper uh, management on top of it, right? So all these are super important because you at the end of the day, once you have an app that is out there in the business, it is super important that you protect the data, right? And you
Cool.
do not want to data leakage or security incident, right? That will ruin the corporate image, which is super important that you uphold that.
That's very true. You need to make sure that you're doing that in the right way, Fred.
Yeah. So that is the two key ingredients, and then the I would say lastly, if you want to have acceleration, you want to create some sort of acceleration to the adoption, and not forgetting that when you accelerate the adoption, accelerate to have people to come on board, you need to bring the ingredient of fun, right? You need to make the whole adoption to be exciting for people to be a part of it. So, which to do so, you have a mix of creating the right internal community, creating the right engagement program like champions program between your enterprise or your community. Um, and with that, you help elevate the the uh, the, the the feel good, right? The feel good experience for the people to be a part of it, right? People want to
Yep.
be people want to be a citizen maker because it looks cool. Because I solve problem fast for the business. Yeah, it makes my career, it changed my career. You know, these kind of things that make it feel good, and people will come will be zooming into to this program. Right? So that will
Yep.
help you with the adoption of it.
That is true. I mean, like even Microsoft gamifies stuff. If you look at Microsoft Learn, it's just learning material, but you get points for doing so and you get levels for it. So yeah,
Yep.
very important. And in your experience, because I know you talk to lots of people around it, what would you say is people's greatest fear that they need to get over?
It really depends on the people's background. Yeah. So I mean, touch on from people who are from zero knowledge, yeah, zero IT knowledge, zero programming knowledge to a pro dev with years of decades of tens of years of programming language experience. Their fear are different, completely different, right? The Let's take the citizen developer who has zero knowledge. I would say they are more bold because they don't come with baggage, right? They just do it, right? Their fear is the understanding of what's possible and what's not possible in terms
Right.
of things, because they are not exposed to it. They are not exposed to, let's say, make a drop down, even a simple drop down to a non-technical person, a business person. They have that little fear to say, okay, you're asking me to make a drop down. I've never done that before, right? But
Yep.
for IT guys, it's super simple, right? Yeah. So, but then once you open up their eyes and say, hey, you can do a drop down by just simple drag and drop, and then put in some option value, and that's it. Right? Or add it to a SharePoint list, and you can get all the drop down values on it. And then once you show them with a few clicks, that fear disappears, right? That fear of learning new things uh, is very applicable to the non-technical people. Whereas for the pro dev, I find from my interaction with all the many of the pro dev, the biggest fear with the pro dev is the unlearning of some of the knowledge that comes from the programming experience. Because in low code platform, things are so simple, right? So simple that it's unbelievable that you mean I do not need to declare my variables? You mean I don't have to call libraries? So things like
It's
this
just
that
there.
are just that. So yeah, you don't have to. Really? Why? So the unlearning is a bit difficult. It's a common struggle that I see among the product. Yeah.
Wonderful. No, I think that sums it up very well. Brilliant. Well, Alan, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing all those wonderful thoughts with us.
No worries. Before we go, I'm just wondering who nominated me into this show. I'm very curious.
I'll tell you offline.
Okay.
I'll tell you offline because I
Cool.
didn't want to make it public. So, viewers, we hope that you've enjoyed this episode of the Oops Factor and can understand how we should best go about adopting Power Platform. Feel free to check out the rest of the Oops Factor playlist, subscribe to the channel, and take a look at the blog. And if you would like to come and share your own story, hit the link in the description, fill in your details, and I'll drop you a line. Have a great day.